How does Pikachu shock you? Hey Pikachu, I shock you. Anyway, how could Pikachu biologically accomplish something like a thunder shock or a lightning bolt or what have you? Well, I have an idea about how this chubby little cute guy's biology might actually work, and they are called electrocytes. So electrocytes are electrical cells. We'll get into what they actually are in just a second. So electrocytes are electrical cells. And they look something like this. They have a flat end and then some weird kind of bumpy end on one side. That's not important. What is important is that through specific chemistry in biology, they can use potassium ion pumps, stuff like that, just little molecular machines that move ions around to create a net negative charge inside of them, meaning the outside of the cell is positive. Then, at the behest of a creature such as Pikachu, nerves connected to all of these electrocytes can all fire in unison. And when that happens, they change how those sodium and ion pumps function, and they take in some of the ions that were on the outside. Now you have positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, all flowing throughout these electrocyte cells. The end result of this is a charge that can come off as some kind of shock. The important thing here is that if you notice how I drew these are specifically stacked. Like you can imagine putting batteries into a flashlight. They are stacked like this. And when they're stacked like that, then this charge differential can flow like an electrical current, and because they're wired in series in this animal, they can amplify each other. So if each one of these only produces a few millivolts, then if you had thousands of these, by the end of them, if they all fired in unison, they could create hundreds of volts that could come out of Pikachu depending on the breakdown distance of the air, whatever planet it's on, Kanto region. I don't know what the breakdown distance of air in Kanto is, but then it could come out of Pikachu's cheek, so to speak, and then shock someone nearby. Now, it sounds like I was kind of making all that up, but I am not, because electrocytes are the electrical cells that you will find in an electric eel. This is exactly what an electric eel does, having stacked electrocytes going down the length of the animal, all firing in unison thanks to pacemaker neurons, so you can think of something trying to trigger your heartbeat. Pacemaker neurons that fire all these electrocytes in unison and create a pretty massive charge. Charge getting in the range to do some serious damage to you and to shock and deter most animals. If Pikachu had biology just like an electric eel, it might have cute little sparks shooting out of its cute little cheeks. And I think that's very fun. And it's real. Hello and welcome to another edition of Because Science Live, the live edition of Because Science, where I try to take all of your comments, questions, and comments about my face and hair and address them to the best of my ability. Hey, I'm not a working scientist. I'm not an expert in anything, but I know a little bit about a lot of sciencey and pop culture-y things. Before we get started today, a couple of housekeeping things. Forgive me if I have a couple of notes. What we're always trying to do here at Because Science is first to educate and to be fun and interesting and enlightening. And I'm always trying to think of things to advance that mission. So recently, I don't know if you heard, but if you go back to the channel, we just announced a new spin-off show called Because Space. At the very same time, last night, it's hard to tell when it's day and night in here, but last night sometimes we hit 1 million subscribers. So thank you to everyone, all of you super nerds out there who have supported, shared, commented, engaged in any way. If you're a parent, you show this to your kids. If you're a teacher, you show it to your students. Or if you just enjoyed in any way, thank you so much. We literally cannot do this without you, and because of you, we can get new shows, more content, more nerdery for you off the ground or whatever a ground is in here. So, with all that being said, I thought it might be helpful to bring the host of our very new show, Because Space, on for this very special live stream. Everyone, please welcome Dr. Moo.
Hey! Wow, I'm so much shorter than you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a size difference here. You don't know this, but she's actually 6'7" and I'm enormous. So Dr. Moo will be hosting Because Space. So if you have any spacey, sciencey questions, it can still be very nerdy, but we'll tag in and tag out, and we'll answer the questions to the best of our ability, or we'll just punt and say we don't know something, because sometimes in science, not knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe didn't say that part. But, yes, Dr. Moo, we're open to you. Thank you so much for being here.
To the other side of the void.
Oh, okay, Nate.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Okay, great. What you got? I guess Moo will be summoned if there's a space question. She floated out. It's hard to control your movement in here, so she just kind of floated out of there. All right,
First one's from Matterbeam.
Hey, Matterbeam.
Ardent
supporter of the show from day one of the channel. Not whatever. Hey, boy.
Jeff
Or
Bezos' Blue Origin event stated that human population could reach 1 trillion and their demands could be only met by asteroid resources and living in giant O'Neill cylinders. As an environmental engineer, do you think Earth could handle 1 trillion? P.S. Super excited about Because Space and new next million subscribers.
Woo! All right, so super excited about Because Space. Me too. First things first. Let's clarify your question just a little bit. Could Earth, the planet Earth, handle 1 trillion people? Well, if we just take your question from the base level, could we put, say, if there's 7 billion people on the planet now, could we put a few hundred times more than that on the planet and have it be fine? Probably not. Just resources, and we'll get to your other asteroid stuff, but just right now, the resources that we have right now, I think we've already eliminated half of biodiversity on the planet. Think about that. In the last few decades, centuries or so, humanity living on the planet, just a few billion, has eliminated 50% of animal life. Uh-oh! So if we were to, it's really bad, but if we were to increase that by hundreds or thousands of times, I don't think the planet could sustain it. It can hardly sustain us right now. In fact, we're on a track towards ecological disaster. No, really, and we need to do something. But if you added more people, I can only surmise it would get even worse. But now to your question, how could we support humanity, more of us, as a whole? Well, what you mentioned, O'Neill cylinders, are giant cylinders in space. So if you had something like a cylinder in orbit, if you nerds know what I'm talking about, this is kind of like the Citadel in Mass Effect, and it is orbiting the Earth, or it is in space, or what have you, and it spins. It has its own spin gravity, and that creates a surface gravity of 1g depending on the radius and how quickly it's spinning. It doesn't have to spin even that fast, like less than 1 RPM if it's over 1 kilometer in radius. Yes, I do know all that off the top of my head. So if you're living outside of the Earth in a self-sustained O'Neill cylinder like this, then theoretically you could get resources from places like asteroids only if you had all of that infrastructure built out already. Think of how much stuff you'd probably still have to ferry up from the Earth, which is very expensive. You'd still have to send things out to asteroids, which would be very expensive. It would take a long time, depending on where they are, or we could go out into the asteroid belt, capture them with spacecraft, and bring them into Earth orbit or something, or orbit around the moon. Anyway, that is a lot of infrastructure to make that happen. While that could be theoretically possible, I think there's a more practical pain point here, which is the time it would take to get all that infrastructure ready to go. I think we'd already be at the point where the planet cannot sustain us. If this takes a few decades or a few hundreds of years to put us into near future sci-fi kind of land, I think we're already going to be past the point of no return if we don't do something quickly. I mean, some environmentalists speculate that we're pretty close to like Venus tipping point, where the tipping point of the amount of carbon in the atmosphere will be a runaway greenhouse effect, a feedback loop, where the planet will get hotter and so absorb more heat, and it gets more hot and absorbs more sunlight, and then we become a Venus, where if you held a pizza up in the air, it would cook in a few seconds. So that would be bad. So can our planet sustain trillions? I think it could theoretically if you had this built out space solar system infrastructure like the Expanse or something, and it would be really, really cool. But practically getting there in a short amount of time before we have to deal with stuff like climate change, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
All right, next question.
It's pretty good.
From
Moo, where did you go?
I'm here somewhere, just floating.
Okay.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
From H. Templar.
Oh, I know who that is specifically.
I think this will be a Dr. Moo question.
I think it will be a question because I know this person personally.
What is what is a realistic timetable for establishing a human research base on Mars, and or would we want to do it on the moon first?
Ooh.
Ooh, awesome question. So, as far as a realistic timeline for humans, let me back up and maybe establish a realistic timeline just to get samples robotically from Mars. Right now, there is a mission that's going to Mars called the 2020 Mars mission. And notionally, there's no set timeline yet, but notionally, it's going to take us about 5 to almost 10 years to get those samples back, just based on robotic missions. So it takes a lot of effort to send something over there to collect the samples, to send something else to bring it back. It's just a lot of logistics. And how are you going to bring it back in a way that if there's some weird Martian germ, doesn't contaminate Earth humans? So there's a lot to think through. So then when you add the human element on top of that, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of smart people working on it now as far as vehicles to get us there. But timeline-wise, I'd guess around another 15 or so years, depending on who you ask. If you ask the Muskie
What if
people.
I ask an Elon Musk? What about then?
What I said.
How long does it take then, Moo?
It's going to take a couple years.
Do you believe him?
I love the ambition. I love the drive and the motivation. And I think, yeah, let's reach for the stars and see where we land. But as far as the biology, the human element, to the ability to get us human weak things to survive the journey without being pelted by radiation, I mean, there's a lot to really think through and iron out. So let's say I'll give it 15 years.
Reach for the stars and see where we land.
Yeah.
I love that. Let's put that on a shirt. Oh, you don't have to leave yet.
Oh.
Let's just see whose question we got. I think I just looked this up for an episode coming out next week, I think. But the amount of radiation you'd get just on a one trip to Mars, just the first leg, I think is more than the acceptable amount of radiation that an astronaut can take over his or her entire career in one trip.
Yeah.
So the radiation and the shielding problem would be a huge thing to overcome. Why don't we just throw a bunch of water around the spacecraft?
Yeah.
Water's heavy.
It is very heavy.
Theoretical straw man argument I'm making.
Funny enough, I saw another argument where they would use human feces instead of water. Super cool idea. You got a production machine right here.
I think it's kind of a crappy idea.
From NS Greenie.
Did we have a sound effect? No.
From NS Greenie, could you literally kill someone with farts?
Oh, I love this question. I don't have an answer, but I love any topic about farts and poop.
Oh.
as you can tell already.
Man, I'm so happy to have her here. Could someone kill? Okay, so what would we have to think about, right? What is the composition of a flatus, of a fart? Methane. You have a lot of methane. You would have carbon dioxide. I don't know. Methane, methyl mercaptan, which is sulfur dioxide. I think. Or am I thinking of
egg smell?
It's the egg smell.
That's the
correct.
Egg smell.
So if you had that, you would have to know the specific concentration that it would take for that gas in air to kill you. The amount that you'd have to fart in order to displace enough air, and say if you were in some just kind of box, the amount that you have to fart to have enough methane to displace enough air, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know what the stoichiometry is on the methane there.
And I feel like you need an array of people to fart all at once, because I don't think you have enough fart in you to kill yourself. And I think the gas will quench. Like over time.
Now, what if you had an unlimited supply of burritos?
I don't think Chipotle can save you. I don't think so.
Put that on a t-shirt. You're wandering outside of warm embrace.
Oh no!
Okay, so so she's new. It's fine. Could you kill someone with farts? I don't think any normal time frame worth of farts could do it, or any normal human amount worth of farts, even if you were farting into a box with someone in it. I
don't know. Maybe if you add an ignition, like some fire.
Good point. Have you ever lit a fart on fire, Dr. Moon?
I have not, but I've seen the videos online.
I've done it.
Really?
Yeah, what they don't tell you is that it burns all your hair. as well. Anything near your butt, it also burns. So fart enough to, what is the stoichiometry of methane? It doesn't matter.
goodness.
But you'd have to fart a lot just to get an explosion in some confined volume anyway.
Yes.
Could you kill someone with farts? Probably not in any kind of practical way, but maybe in some kind of like Dr. Evil way where I have 1,000 people farting in a
Yes.
box at once and then I throw a cigarette in there or whatever. Let's go with that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
From Dave Sharma. What would
Brother of famous rock climber Chris Sharma?
He keeps asking these good questions.
Wow, he has a question every week.
What would you like to see make a jump from science fiction to science fact?
What? What would it take?
Wormholes.
No,
what
what
would
would
we
you
want
like?
to see? Wormholes.
Oh, what science fiction concept would you want to?
Well, it's not a science fiction concept, but
Kind of is.
to be able to use it, because we haven't discovered it yet.
No, but it's only It's only theoretically a solution to the equations of
Einstein.
general relativity. There's
Exactly.
no like exotic matter that is currently holding a wormhole open somewhere. So.
Exactly.
But okay, you go first. What sci-fi thing would you like to see happen in real life?
Teleportation. I always wanted this since I was in high school, and one time I woke up late for the SATs and I missed it. And I really wanted
that got you excited about teleportation.
it did.
Okay, well, I would have nano blades. No, I would have no. I would have the sunglasses lids frame. What are these called? Lenses. There we go. You're supposed to help me.
I'm just watching this.
The sunglasses frames that would be surgically implanted into the sides of my eyes, and then when I activated it, and it would slide over my eyes like that.
Oh, kind of like lizard eyes.
Yes,
Yeah.
a nictitating membrane, but made out of plastic is what I want. That or a wire so thin made of carbon nanotubes that if you strung it across a doorway of an enemy and they were moving fast enough, they'd be cut in half without seeing it.
Ooh, spy gear.
Yeah. Like cheese slicer style.
Yeah.
Wow, Moo really brings out the terribleness of me.
From Liam Goodwin.
What's next?
Dr.
Oh,
Moo,
sorry.
do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens? What do you?
They ask this a lot.
Yeah.
I know it's a two-parter question.
Yes. So, first of all, what is your definition of aliens? I don't believe in aliens. I don't believe in little green men. There's always a search for extraterrestrial life. I have not seen any proof, but we continue searching, and that's kind of our drive as humans. What is over the next hill? What is on the next frontier? So there's no evidence that they exist, but we continue searching.
Yeah, so for me, whenever I think about this, it's a two-parter. Are you asking, have aliens ever visited? No, I've never seen any good evidence of that, despite
That we can tell you.
that we can tell you, or else we'll be shot right now. No. So I've never seen any good things, even UFOs, self-reported stuff. Humans are very fallible, very easily deceived, or, just want to believe, I want to believe, that kind of thing. That can bias your reasoning. And I'm not saying that anyone who thinks aliens have visited here are, in any way like dumb or wrong or anything like that. It's just, no, there's just no good evidence right now. So if you think that they visited, okay, but I'd like to see evidence. The other part of that question is that, are there aliens in the universe? And to that, I say probably. And I cannot say for sure, but if you just think of the numbers at work here. So let's say that we just take maybe how many how many planets could be just in our own galaxy? A lot. Tens or hundreds of billions or something like that. If every star might have 4 habitable planets around it, I think was the most recent estimate.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, sure.
I know the
4
total
planets,
number.
whatever. So we're within orders of magnitude here.
Yeah.
So now, if this is just our galaxy, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies, we don't have to do this all out, but let's just say just in our own galaxy, the chances of life are 1 in a billion. That means there's 100 planets with life on it. The numbers in space are so big and so vast that the mathematics of it kind of bear out that if there is even a slightly decent chance of a planet having life on it, a lot of planets have life on them. So I leave that door open. I think that it's probable, but we probably will never ever meet them because space is also so big.
It's huge.
That even if they were traveling at the speed of light, which is impossible, the entire civilizations could rise and fall in the time it would take.
That's right.
Hey, thanks.
Great job.
Hey, thank you. I've done it before.
From Michael Smith, do you
Am I-
think scientists could actually make a living Pokemon? If so, where should they start?
A living Pokemon.
I mean, kind of already have breeding different animals. I mean,
Explain yourself.
it depends. I mean, take Pikachu. I mean, do they have to be sentient? Do they have
Yes,
to?
they must talk with Ryan Reynolds' voice.
Ah, dang it. Okay.
No, like an animal like Pikachu. Continue your thought. I like it.
Yeah, well, just like an animal like Pikachu. I mean, we've bred different things, right? And this, I think, is achievable. If they're able to interact with us and talk the same language, that's a little bit difficult, like Ryan Reynolds. But if it's just the one that says Pika Pika, that's totally possible.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not 100% sure what your question is getting at, but if you take something like when we were talking about in the Mewtwo episode with like transgenic animals, where you could alter an animal pretty significantly by taking genes outside of that animal, using some vector and inserting genes into that embryo of the animal and changing it. We've made kittens glow in the dark. That sounds like a Pokemon to me. It sounds like an Espeon. You nerds what I'm talking about. You nerd. Anyway, so beyond transgenic animals, you could also have just selective selection. That's non-natural selection.
Yeah.
So, nature is always selecting for just what works, but as humans, cultivated their society and got animals under their domestication, we have changed the body types and plans and phenotypes of animals substantially. I mean, we made a wolf into a chihuahua. And I don't even know I don't even know if you can call those dogs. So, I'm taking shots. Taking shots at chihuahuas.
Wow.
They always look like they're shivering and terrified. I don't know if they should exist. Oh, I'm gonna get a lot of mentions from that. So could we make something like a Pokemon? Well, if a Pokemon is just an animal that we can breed, that we can train, we do that all the time with domesticated animals, with breeding, with unnatural selection. We do that. We select for traits that we want, like nature would, accidentally, and then we breed that to express those traits more naturally. Like if a Pikachu somehow just naturally expressed some kind of electrocyte kind of cell, you could take more animals that slightly expressed it, breed them with each other, and down through the generations, you might have something that's more of a Thundershock.
From Mayman963.
Classic.
How
Mayman
many-
964 was taken.
How many hamburgers could I eat in space before dying?
Now that's a Dr. Moo question.
How many hamburgers
Dr.
can
Moo,
you-
because the hamburgers are made
in space.
of cows and Dr.
We definitely cow jokes here for it.
Sounds like she's not here for it.
No, I actually.
Okay.
So the real question is, how many hamburgers can you eat on Earth before you die? Because it's the same number.
That's a better question. I mean, yes. What about space would change your ability to consume food? Even if you're in microgravity, you still have. I would guess that more of. You still have the same material resistances of your stomach. Your stomach still has the same ultimate tensile strength. That's not changing in microgravity. It can still expand the same amount it can on Earth, even though there's not gravity pulling you down, even though there is, but you're constantly falling, so it doesn't feel like it. But yeah, being in microgravity is going to change how much you can eat.
Yeah, it may give you a little more indigestion because things are kind of sloshing around in there. You don't have gravity to help make it into the thing that's gonna blow everybody up, like our first question.
Yeah, how would the air know where to go?
Yeah, it's bouncing probabilities and hopefully it gets to the right place. Sometimes it'll go up, sometimes it'll go down. Because space, space.
It's because space. It's pretty good.
From Thiago O.
Thiago!
Is there any practical way to faster than light travel in the near future?
Ooh, oh.
Albuquerque Drive. That's what he's
yeah.
asking. Or they are asking. Sorry.
You want to take this?
I don't know. Hey, you work in aerospace. You tell me.
Yeah, and because there's a great episode coming up about this, so I'm just like, I don't want to give it away.
There's a great episode coming out about this, so in the next few weeks you can tune in for Dr. Moo's answer. I don't know what exactly her answer is because I let Dr. Moo kind of have free reign for it's her show. I want her voicing, so you can see that. What I would say, just generally, is that faster than light travel right now, as far as we know and as far as we've tested with weird stuff, is definitely impossible. But that's as far as we know right now, unless Moo has some creative answer to that. But you'll have to tune in to Because Space, the first episode, dropping on the 20th.
What?
Last question.
Last question.
From Star.
From Star!
Aww.
What is your favorite Pokemon and why? In honor of Detective Pikachu.
You first.
Yes, definitely my favorite Pokemon is Jigglypuff. I still have my Jigglypuff card in my Jigglypuff bag with my Jigglypuff keychain, and it's all coming together with me tomorrow when I watch it. So.
Yeah, and also if you feel like seeing Detective Pikachu, you definitely should. I say that as an employee of Legendary Pictures. But my favorite Pokemon, I would have to say, is the Abra, Kadabra, Alakazam line. Because when I was a kid, I realized, for whatever reason in Pokemon Red, that if you can go through the grind that is catching a dang Abra and then getting it a seismic toss on one of the routes that's near, I think it's near Old Bill's house or whatever, you teach it seismic toss and you go into the bushes near Old Bill's house and you start fighting Oddishes at around level 14. You start evolving Abra. Luckily, you catch it maybe at a level 10. You raise it to level 16. You get yourself a Kadabra, and then once you get Psybeam or Confusion in there, he starts wrecking the early game. Oh, I also was so obsessed with Kadabra when I was a kid with magic cards. I stole a magic card, a Pokemon card from my friend. It was a Kadabra. I was obsessed. Yes,
Wow.
The statute of limitations is up on that.
That's good.
Yeah, so
Are there such thing as purists of 151, the OG Gen 1 purists? Because I kind of don't know anybody else.
I left my Pokemon Red on a plane. It had Mew on it. Return it to me, please. Anything else you want to say about Pokemon?
No.
She's excited.
Watch it.
And I'm excited. But do you know what I'm even more excited for? Because Space, our new spin-off show, coming on May 20th, hosted by Dr. Moo. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Moo, did you have a good first time?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is fun. Maybe we can do this again next week.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to put something on the board.
You did it.
I did it. Oh, I'm going to do it.
Looks like an eclipse. Wow, look at those skills. So make sure to tune in when Because Space comes on May 20th. And until then, everything else is staying the same on the channel. Same live stream schedule, same number of episodes, main episodes, same number of footnotes. And if people like Because Space enough, if you share, if you comment, you tell us if you like it or not. If it does really well, maybe we can even give you your own edition of footnotes, and you can respond to all these nerdy people.
What? That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So until then, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Go see Detective Pikachu. Because it helps me directly. And remember to be nice to each other, because this is all we got. Now we're gonna duck out.
Okay.
Okay, just
Is this how the void works?
yeah,
Is
just
this
duck.
how
Yeah, just duck out.
Okay.